Did that stat get changed? I feel like the initial play to Debo that went for a touchdown was marked as a pass. And you're right. It is now going down as a rush. Did they originally throw it as a pass? They did. They changed it. I was going to say, because for a period of time on the TV broadcast, he was north of 206 yards and had a touchdown throw. And they've now changed it to a rush. Yeah. So McCaffrey a rushing TD, Debo a rushing TD, and Brock a rushing TD. Yeah, and that's the one where, and I know that technically when the QB is in the shotgun or the pistol and he gets the snap and he just throws the ball up in the air and then the receiver runs by and grabs it, it counts as a forward pass. Yeah. Or if you hand it to him, it's a run. The whole thing is a little bit curious to me. And if you're under center and you throw the ball to the wide receiver on the screen and the ball goes backwards, even though you threw it 10 yards across the field, that goes down as a run. So statistically, it's all a little bit curious. Yeah, well, that's always going to be the deal. I mean, Matt Stafford got credited with 2 picks yesterday. That's not fair. Right. No. It's not, right? I mean, Patrick Mahomes threw a pick 6 on the opening night against the Lions. That's not fair. But that's life, and that's sports. And so, yeah, the stats are all a little bit quirky. But for me, Brock Purdy misses 3 somewhat long chunk play throws, and that's a bummer, and you would love for him to be better. But by and large, if you take away those 3, he's 17 of 22 for 206 with no turnovers. That's very, very efficient play from your quarterback. That's my big takeaway from Brock Purdy's performance yesterday. Was this one to put on the front of your highlight reel? Absolutely not. But by the same token, I think what you really want, especially with a roster like this, you want a QB who's going to be smart and not to turn the ball over. And if he does that all year long, man, they're going to win almost every week. Yeah, and that's basically, I think, the blueprint for what Kyle wants is, like you said, no turnovers and just be efficient. And yes, you would like him to hit on the 2 or the 3 deeper throws that were open, a couple more open than the other ones. And you would hope that over time he will connect on those, but they weren't interceptions. They were overthrows and they were plays that were there. And ultimately it didn't come down to the fact where that was going to hurt you because you were in control of the game from the third quarter on. There are still a few of you out there. I know that you are a vocal minority. There are still a few of you out there. Right after the game, I received this from Arnold Robinson Jr. on Twitter. Purdy is garbage. Come on. We should have kept Trey Lance, and it is going to bite us in the ass. There's still a few of you out there. Of course. And they will always still a few of you be out there. So Brock completes 68% of his throws with no interceptions, a QB rating of 93.1, whatever that's worth. Now, had he thrown, a touchdown pass, and I don't know why the Debo one was not a touchdown pass because it looked to me like that ball actually went forward on the throw, but they call it a run. I'll look for the highlight. I just was looking at the highlight. What do you think? It's a forward pass. I mean, it happens behind the line of scrimmage, but that's not the determinant. The determinant is, did the ball go forward when the quarterback threw it? That's the only thing that matters. And to me, this one goes forward. So if that one's called a touchdown catch, then his QB rating is like 108. I see it as backward by about a half yard, but I get where you're coming from. I've watched enough NFL to know that often gets called a pass. And I will say this. If Mahomes or Allen had thrown that, that's a touchdown pass. That's a touchdown pass. But by the letter of the law, I get it. They didn't do anything wrong. He releases the ball, and it goes backward about a half yard to Debo. It's not incorrect. And again, it's irrelevant. What I love, you want to know what I'm noticing? And I love this. So Purdy, as you just said, 17 to 25, 206. The Niners score 30 points. They win on the road, and it's turnover free, but he misses 3 downfield throws. And you're going to get people that go, this is not good enough. He's garbage. Well, that's a good thing. Because that means we're finally starting to raise the bar. We're starting to raise the bar. And I think that's a good thing. That means Brock Purdy has already convinced a bunch of people of some things. Yes, until there's like Super Bowl success, then the same narrative is going to continue. But I love that people are now like, no, let's set a higher bar for Brock Purdy. Let's set an even higher bar. Nobody's talking. You know what you don't hear this week? Wow, this is a small sample. No, I think we're done. I think small sample, we're done here.
Are we done with samples now?
I'm done with small sample. You all done with small sample?
We've gone through Costco, and we've walked up and down every aisle, and we've hit all the samples. And then you start to circle back, and you're like, man, I already had that. I already had the empanada. I had the soy milk.
You're going to put a hat on so they don't recognize me and go
I
back
had the
through
tortilla
and get a
chips.
second taquito.
I had the chicken finger. I had the taquito. Are we done with the samples now, people? Because I used to take my kids, my older kids who are now in their 20s, I'd say, Daddy's going to Costco. Who wants to go?
Oh.
And Quest was always like, let's go, Dad.
I'm in.
Samples. And this is pre-COVID. Samples are back now at Costco, which I don't think at the same level they used to be, but
pretty good.
in terms of sample size, Costco, sample, Brock Purdy, are we done now with the samples? And can we shop now? Can I go and get 88 AA batteries?
No, it's a good question.
Can I go get 700 pounds of ramen?
Are you with me? Are we done with
Can
this?
I get my 5-pound bag of tortilla chips?
Do you know what you need to not do? Because I did this just last week. I made a Costco run last week.
Nice.
I went right after it opened. Samples aren't out yet.
Right.
Yep, not out yet.
If you want to maximize samples, it's a Saturday, Sunday, but then you're going to be there with the masses.
Oh, man, yeah.
But that's where you're going to get the max.
People are rolling that cart into your ankle.
Oh, my God.
The line is stretching all the way to the clothes. When it's time to leave, you're like, oh, I'm looking at hoodies right now.
I don't even need a hoodie.
Should I grab a hoodie?
One.
It's $12.99. I think I should grab a hoodie. I think that they do. I think some of those people are actors. They're like, get the line out to the hoodies. See if we could sell some more Champion hoodies for $12.99.
They got some sneaky good clothes in there.
I walk through there every time.
Yep.
Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Socks. I should get socks. Why? I don't need socks. Let's get some more
You
socks.
just never know.
You never know.
12 pair for $5.99.
But are you with me there?
I am now.
Are we done?
We're done with samples.
With Brock Purdy's sample size. Are we done?
We're done, Mark.
I'm done.
We're done. No, we're done because what's the sample now? It is like
10
now
games?
10 games?
And forget stats. Forget the quirky, like he started and he didn't start. He played the majority. If we turn the Miami plus Eagles into one game, that's 4 quarters of football.
Fine.
Okay?
Fine.
Turn that into one game. And then outside of that, what was it? It was 5 regular season starts.
5 and 2 and 2.
2 playoff
So now
wins.
we're looking at 10.
So 10 games. He played 10 games, and
he's won every one except for the one where his arm fell off.
right. The one that where he played one drive.
Yeah, if you
and
give him
didn't finish.
Miami and then you also give him Philly, he's 9-1. And you look at the number of interceptions he's thrown
4
per game, right?
4
4 a game?
4 total.
4 total?
I need Gene Hackman to walk in and go, how many interceptions has he thrown?
Number 4.
Shout out Hoosiers.
4. He's thrown 4 interceptions.
What about the fumbles, though, Mark?
What about the fumbles?
I mean, there haven't been that many. The big one against Philly cost him the game in the NFC Championship.
Sure.
Hashtag facts.
Let's see. Fumbles.
He's fumbled once this year, right?
I got one. Yeah. And he got it back, right? Oh, no, there was one that he lost also. So he's fumbled twice.
Okay.
We got one of them back.
Small hands.
Behind his back.
Must be those small hands. Sample size.
Yeah.
I'm done with sample size.
Right?
He's the quarterback. They're 2-0. He's either good enough or he's not good enough. I'm not going to worry about he hasn't done it enough. He's the dude. So let's go, Brock.
Well, and I think it's even deeper than that. Like, he's the quarterback. That's the 49ers' decision. But each and every fan gets to decide sort of where he's at, where they're at on the spectrum as far as figuring out how you feel about this guy long term. And 10 games is not forever. We got to see how this all plays out. There's no contract talk for at least another 2 seasons, so nobody needs to worry about it. But I do think we've reached a point where the discussion about Brock, which is always going to happen, he's the quarterback of the football team, but the discussion as we get to certain markers needs to remove certain aspects. For me, we've arrived. We have arrived at the point in the story where we remove sample size from the conversation. I think we're starting to get to know who this guy is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and he is an elite game manager. He's a guy who can go 17 for 25 for 206 and win comfortably because he's not going to turn it over. He may not hit the big play, but he's not going to miss the easy plays. And you'd be hard-pressed, and you mentioned it before, he had 8 incompletes, and 3 of those were on deep balls that he missed on. Okay, so now we're down to 5 incompletes.
5 incompletes.
One of them was a good throw to Ayuk, who couldn't hang on to it because he's got a shoulder injury, and we're going to update that here as the show goes on in terms of how bad his injury was. And he had 4 other incompletes that I'd have to rack my brain to remember because none of them were, oh, that should have been picked off, or, oh, my God, how did he throw it there?
There were not.
That guy was open.
There were more of those in the Steeler game than there were yesterday.
Exactly.
There were 0 turnover-worthy throws yesterday.
Right. He was just damn efficient. He runs the offense. I don't recall any delay of game or like illegal procedure or false starts, any of the parking tickets, as I like to call them, based on an inexperienced quarterback who doesn't get the play in and doesn't know how to get the play out.
So when can we adjust the conversation a little bit to get to the point? And I know we've talked about it, right? I know that he played for 4 years in college and had a lot of starts, right? I get that. I get that Shanahan is a really good play caller. I get that he's got Trent Williams on the left tackle. I get that he's got Kittle. I get that he's got McCaffrey and Debo. He's got security blankets everywhere. But now when do we circle back to this level of efficiency, this level of game management, this level of protection coming from somebody who just got hucked into the NFL for the first time less than a year ago? Like, when do we start comparing just that? Just the first 10 games?
Right now. Right now. I mean, if we're done with sample size, then we are into the era of, well, how good is he? Let's compare him to the other quarterbacks. Forget, the other guys who have 12 or 15 years, Matt Stafford or Anthony Richardson, who's got 2 games. How good are you, Brock?